President Donald Josephine Trump is currently on a tour of Asia where he will be meeting with allies, such as the new Japanese Prime Minister, and rivals, such as Xi Jinping. It's a crucial moment with huge ramifications for the current tariff regime in this country and for the peace and security of the entire region itself. But first stop, Kuala Lumpur, so let's dance, mother. He loves this shit. I love at the end, he was like, and then he just goes like, eh? That's all I got. He loves the red carpet. He loves the hats. None of it makes any... They're playing the theme song to Hawaii Five-0. None of it made any sense. But he loves the pomp, and he loves the circumstance. That's why he loves going overseas. That's what they give him overseas. Ladies and gentlemen, it's what he loves. Look what we do to him here. This is what he tweeted right before leaving on the trip. I want to thank Donald Trump for working like a dog for no money to save a country that doesn't appreciate his sacrifice. I hope you're happy, America. Look at this poor son of a bitch. He just wants... He just wants to save his country. And all he asks for in return is a little bit of total unquestioning fealty. And a few $1 billion in influence money and new forms of currency. This poor bastard. Hey, buddy. Want to go to Malaysia? Yeah, there we go. Come on. But what do we do when he comes home? Beef is too expensive. My healthcare bankrupted me. Where's my abuela? Poor little billionaire president. He hates it here. And why wouldn't he? Everything he does for us, we have a problem with. What's the one thing that we've wanted in this country for as long as I can remember? An outsized ballroom. I have been talking about this since I was... Someday I'll grow up and do the cha-cha. Remember the march when we all wore the chandelier hats? No crown molding, no peace. When I say crystal, you say stemware. Crystal. Crystal. Stemware. I can't believe how well that works. Like, we don't rehearse any of that. How easily fascism comes to America. Chant with me. So we've always wanted a giant ballroom, and then, as soon as the man surprises us by completely demolishing the east wing of the White House after announcing that he would not touch it at all, suddenly everybody's got a problem.
The new construction plans haven't been filed with the National Capital Planning Commission for public input or to have reviewed by professionals who actually work in this field.
Well, maybe you'd like to file an appeal with the thing's already not here anymore, board. You know, the man is just trying to give Americans a $300 million space that we can use 4 to 6 times a year. And you're all worried if it's the right shade of historic federal gray from Farrow and Ball. It's like we don't even want to be happy. And then, as if that's not bad enough, after Trump builds us a double the White House next to the White House, we won't even offer him the simplest of thanks. We act like he's in it for himself.
ABC News now reporting Trump will likely name the ballroom after himself.
How dare you, sir? At long last, have you no decency? What makes you think this selfless man, look at him! What makes you think this selfless man is so arrogant as to want his name over whatever he makes? You bastards. You know, if George Washington had known there would come a day when an American president would be so disrespected that he couldn't even build a ballroom without filing plans first, would he even have crossed the Delaware? Or might he have said, forget the whole thing, me boys? I don't know his accent. Forget the whole thing, me boys! And don't just say, oh, the White House, but it's a historic building and a symbol for the country, and it means a lot to a lot of people. We have been nagging this man since he selflessly decided not to host a sequel to The Apprentice and lead our great nation. And these are the complaints just from the last few weeks.
The president igniting a firestorm.
President Trump facing new questions about his latest pardon.
Tension rising on President Trump's plan to send the military to American cities.
Tensions rising as the shutdown is dragging on.
Cattle ranchers across the country are blasting President Trump.
Cattle ranchers? How dare you? He's personally keeping you in business. We like snacks. We are taking the joy out of this thing. And then, as sad as he gets, when he goes to blow off a little steam by blowing up some boats.
If you want to engage in a war with Venezuela, you need to come to Congress for an authorization. There being none, these strikes are unconstitutional and unlawful.
Nag, nag, nag. Which one of you murdered those people without due process? Ooh, was it you? You get detention. Ooh. You see what you've done? You're killing this guy.
You treat me so unfairly. It's hate. You have a lot of hate in your heart. You know nothing about nothing. You're fake news. You should be ashamed of yourself. Quiet. You're really obnoxious. One of the worst reporters that you'll ever see. I don't even want to take a question. You're a third-rate reporter. Always have been. Frankly, you're a terrible reporter. You know it, and so do I. Who is that back there? All right, get out of the room.
Our constant complaining is turning him into the worst version of himself. He doesn't want to be this person. Everyone knows a healthy relationship is a relationship where one person gets to do whatever they want, whenever they want. Even if some of that shit's illegal. And the other person has to eat it. Just eat it. If you don't want to eat it, at the very least, just pretend like you don't see it. Like Speaker Mike Johnson.
How comfortable are you with the president apparently seeking $230 million from the Department of Justice?
I don't know the details about that. I've just read it. I didn't talk with him about that.
See? How hard is that? I'm just dumb. And by the way, anyone can pull that off when they're first asked. A real pro can pull it off when they're asked the exact same thing the next day.
You said yesterday you were still trying to get the details of this $230 million the president has asked from Justice Department to pay for his legal bills. Now that you've had some time, perhaps to get the details, are you okay with taxpayers potentially being on the hook for that kind of money?
I'm not trying to dodge the question. I haven't had time to get the details, okay? That's still on my list, things to do list.
No, he hasn't had the time. time. He's got a big list of things to do. He's got the covering up of the Epstein files and, well, I guess that's the only thing on the list. But still, there's a lot of papers in that file. It's pro-level ignorance support. But if you want a relationship to work, you've got to put in that kind of effort every day. You've got to show up for that person every day. Mike Johnson does.
I don't know anything about the meme coin thing. I don't know. That's the first I've heard of that. I don't know anything about it.
I don't know. I've never seen the Epstein evidence.
I haven't seen the specifics of that. I don't know the details. I just saw a headline this morning.
I haven't seen it. I can't comment on it. I've been a little busy today.
Look, I don't know anything about the dinner. I was a little busy this past week.
I don't know anything about it yet. I've been really busy.
Do you support those comments or not?
I don't know what Eric was saying because I only heard just a snippet there. I don't know the context.
You just saw it, sir.
What? Did I see it? I haven't had a chance to see myself seeing it. But seeing myself seeing it is on my list of things not to do. I'm very busy. We've got a lot of work to do, America. Because if we're going to hold on to this man for the rest of our natural lives, it's going to be hard. But lucky for us, even after everything, he's still open to making it work.
Sir, Steve Bannon said in a recent interview that there could be plans for you to be able to run and potentially win a third term in 2028. Is that something you'd be willing to challenge in court?
I haven't really thought about it.
Yes! He's doing it! I haven't thought about it. That's the tell for whenever he's asked about something that he is definitely going to do that is dubious legally, ethically, or morally. He says he hasn't thought about it. But of course, we know he's thought about it because he already has the merch. Yeah. Now, of course, the negative Nellies are going to have issues. They'll say presidents cannot serve more than 2 terms due to the 22nd Amendment. You'll recall that Congress ratified it after FDR served 4 terms and caused irreparable harm to this country by inventing the podcast. But what's interesting about Trump is he's actually worked through the various scenarios of running for a 3rd term he has not thought about.
One theory on how you might try to serve a 3rd term is that you could run as the vice president.
Yeah, I'd be allowed to do that. You'd be allowed to do that, but I wouldn't. I would do. I think it's too cute. Yeah, I would rule that out because it's too cute. I think the people wouldn't like that. It's too cute.
Too cute? No, that's why you don't go to Build-A-Bear as an adult. Running as the vice president to skirt the 22nd Amendment isn't cute. But he's the kind of guy who's like, I respect Americans too much to play games. If I'm going to run again, I'm going to rip off the Constitution's head and shit down its neck. And truth is, indications are very clear he's going to do it. Because you don't move into a house, knock down a wing, and build a 90,000 square foot ballroom for the next guy. Trump's not a house flipper. He's not Ellen. He's in it for the long haul. But the question then becomes, why? We've already let him down so badly. America's clearly not his happy place. So maybe there's a solution that could work for everybody. I'd like to propose it. Let's make Donald Trump our overseas president in 2028. You can have the title. We could give him all the pomp and all the adoration. He could be America's touring company, taking our great show anywhere but here. He can dance in Malaysia. He could hold orbs with the Saudis. He could pretend to enjoy literature with the King of England. And when he's done, we'll put him back on the plane and have everyone ask him questions. And we'll do it all again. I'd like that. Would you like that, Donnie? He likes it!
The government government shutdown is on day 28, which is when it sheds its uterine lining. So buckle up, it's going to be a rough ride. And the longer this goes on, the worse things get. Air traffic controllers are getting exhausted, Americans are about to lose SNAP benefits, and the White House is falling apart. Oh, I'm sorry, what? Oh, that was done on purpose. Never mind. This is the perfect time for President Trump to meet the moment with his famous deal-making skills and master negotiating to end this shutdown.
President Donald Trump currently on his way to Asia for a high-stakes tour of the region.
Okay. Government will be here when you get back, maybe. Boys trip. Let's get into it with our ongoing segment, Trump Meets World.
International humiliation, one after another.
Donald Trump is spending the week in Asia, and today he was in Japan to meet their new Prime Minister, Sanai Takaichi. She's Japan's first female Prime Minister. She's also their first Japanese female Prime Minister. Although I'm told in Japan that's not really a big deal. If she were America's first Japanese female Prime Minister, I mean, come on. Herstory. Mwah. Anyway, good news. It's already looking like the beginning of a big, beautiful friendship.
In her diplomatic debut as Prime Minister, Sanai Takaichi heaped praise on President Trump and vowed to make new investments in the U.S.
Very strong handshake. So if you see any weird bruises on my hand, that's why. Although it's not surprising when a woman has a strong handshake. We build up our strength by clutching our keys between our fingers at night, like a patriarchy Edward Scissorhands. Now, the purpose of Trump's visit was to discuss critical trade agreements and reaffirm our alliances. But first, Donnie gets presents.
Takaichi, even at this bilateral meeting, we saw her gift Trump a golf club. She also gifted him a golden golf ball.
Wow. Okay, she is a great gift giver. A golf ball covered in gold? That is a combination of two of Trump's favorite things. I mean, how could you even top that? Maybe an Epstein Island made of Lee Greenwoods? And after the gift giving, it was time for some ceremony. So the Prime Minister showed off her new friend Trump to a gathering of uniformed soldiers. We see here in this solemn moment of respect, two allies totally in sync. Wait. Mr. President, where are you going? Nope, that's the kitchen. Whoops, nope, over here. No, Mr. Trump, back over here. Hold on. Oopsie daisy. But aside from that one slip-up, President Trump did a great job of letting the Prime Minister walk him from one side of the room to the other. It kind of makes me wonder if Donald Trump could have a real future as a show dog.
Introducing one of the favorites of tonight's show, the old American beaver hound.
He is in the care of expert handler Sanai Takaichi.
Lively, aggressive, and incredibly horny, the beaver hound is especially popular among rural white families.
That's right, and judges tonight will be looking for the hallmarks of a good beaver hound. Strong veneers, girthy cankles.
Oh, whoops. It looks like he's wandered away from his handler. That's going to cost him some points.
Okay, he looks like he's back on track now. Excellent form on that turn.
The beaver hound's golden mane is glistening.
Indeed, and now one final trick, a leap onto the platform. And nailed it! Wow!
What a performance by the old American beaver hound.
Who's a good president? Not you, not you. Of course, it wouldn't be a Trump trip overseas without a visit to the U.S. troops who are stationed in every country in the world for reasons that are never quite clear. And after the Prime Minister made Trump feel so comfortable, he thought it was only fair for him to return the favor by bringing her along to make her feel uncomfortable.
But the cherished alliance between the United States and Japan is one of the most remarkable relationships in the entire world. Really, there's never been anything like it. Born out of the ashes of a terrible war, our bond has grown over 8 decades.
Face. We all know that face. That is the look look of a woman who's going to be talking about this ashes of war thing the second they get to the car. I'm not going to embarrass you in front of your friends, but we will talk about this later. But I'm glad the president is having such a fun time while the government's shut down. Speaking of which, let's just check in to see how the negotiations are going.
People keep commenting to me, you look so tired on TV. I am so tired because we're not sleeping a lot. We're working overtime.
Oof, yikes. Yeah. It's okay, though. In my experience, a tired Johnson should be back up and ready to go in like 30 minutes. 20 if he's been eating oysters. And look, Mike, I know shutdown negotiations are tough, but President Trump is in Japan working just as hard. Now remember, troops, don't be gay. This to imply that this speech was entirely jerk-off dancing. Trump did have some important updates for the troops stationed in Japan.
I'm going to sign an executive order. When we build aircraft carriers, it's steam for the catapults and it's hydraulic for the elevators. You know, the new thing is magnets. So instead of using hydraulic, that you can be hit by lightning and it's fine. You take a little glass of water and you drop it on magnets. I don't know what's going to happen.
What the are you talking about? You don't know what's going to happen if you get water on a magnet? The magnet gets wet. That's it. It's a magnet, okay, not a gremlin. Here, you know what? Let me show you. Water, magnet. Magnet and water. See? Nothing happens. Well, when he's right, he's right. Now, Trump obviously didn't spend the whole time talking about magnets. He also asked the troops how they felt about magnets.
Which is better, hydraulic or magnets? What the hell is wrong with these people?
Well, that's a scientific poll if I've ever seen one. Which option do you like? The one that I, your boss, prefer, or the one that I have an unhinged vendetta against? I am so curious how military recruitment is going to work in this country. Question 1, do you promise to serve this nation and protect the Constitution? Question 2, do you with magnets? By the way, Trump has been baffled by magnets for quite some time.
Now, all I know about magnets is this. Give me a glass of water. Let me drop it on the magnets. That's the end of the magnets. Instead of using hydraulic, they used magnets. And nobody needed magnets until they convinced everybody 20 years ago, let's all do magnets. But it should have never gotten that way because we should have been doing they call it magnets.
Well, I guess this is what happens when your parents don't want to put any of your pictures on the fridge. Oh, honey, we'd love to, but all the magnets got wet. No, that's how they work. Anyway, it was your classic Trump speech. Weird, nonsensical ranting, a weird, nonsensical survey, but there was one moment I didn't quite expect.
I never forget that our ultimate strength does not come from equipment, it comes from you people. Incredible people, good-looking people, too many good-looking people. I don't like good-looking people. I never liked good-looking people, I'll be honest with you. I've never admitted that before.
What? You don't like good-looking people? That's the last category of people we thought you liked. We already know that you don't like fat people, ugly people, women people, Democrat people, prosecutors. Why not good-looking people? Because you know, they're attractive and you're attracted to them. So the two of you are drawn together like a pair of magnet. Oh. Okay, now it all makes sense. I see. Today, Trump was in South Korea, where he was dismayed to learn that the hot demon hunter babes are, in fact, not real people. But don't worry, he still got a warm welcome, and the South Koreans even honored our rich American heritage.
Overnight, President Trump touching down in South Korea, greeted with the YMCA on the tarmac.
Unbelievable. The Village people must be so proud that their song became America's official presidential anthem. To think, when they wrote it, they just wanted to make a jaunty tune about getting railed at the gym. But this is how it's been at every stop on the trip. Trump arrives, they throw a big party for him, then they immediately try to buy his affection with gifts. So South Korea, what do you got?
Korean President Lee lavishing Trump with gifts, including a replica of a golden crown.
We present this old crown to you on this joyous occasion of your state visit to Gyeongju.
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
Wow, a golden crown. What a lovely, thoughtful gift for our president. South Korea, can I just talk to you over here real quick? Hey, South Korea, what the are you doing? Seriously. All right, we have been trying real hard over here to gently steer our president away from the whole king thing. And then you come along, hey, President Trump, check out this cool crown. Try it on. Take it home with you. Not helping. Please, just give them a stack of money like a normal country and stop up our shit. Everything's great. We were just having a little chat. Anyway, while Trump is collecting more items for his dress-up bin back at home, the government shutdown has stretched to day 29, or what we think is 29. The guy who counts the days has been furloughed. Now, so far, many Americans have been insulated from the worst effects of the shutdown. The airports are mostly still running, Social Security checks are still going out, and the FBI will still kick down your door if you even think about copying a VHS tape. But 2 days from now, a lot of people are about to feel the shutdown in a big way.
SNAP food assistance, a lifeline for roughly 42 million, now set to run out of money by the end of the week.
Food banks already stretched to the limit are seeing even longer lines. A food crisis some experts say could be the worst since the Great Depression, all because of the government shutdown.
Come on, are you serious? On top of everything Americans are dealing with, now people might lose their food? Not food, that's our favorite thing to stress eat. But okay, no need to worry. We have a whole government whose job it is to keep its citizens fed. I'm sure there's something they can do at this point.
There's nothing we can do at this point.
Trump has done all he can to minimize it, but there's nothing else he can do.
The Trump administration has done its best to try to minimize these hardships, but ultimately it starts to run out of funds and run up against the bounds of law, and there's really nothing more they can do.
This is a national safety net, and you're talking about it like it's a return after 30 days. Oh, sorry the pants gave you a camel toe. There's nothing we can do. According to the Trump administration, the only way to keep SNAP funded is for Democrats to end the shutdown. And sure, I get why they want people to think that. But what's interesting is that when the Trump administration needed to find funding to pay the troops, they shifted money around and they found it. Hell, they even got help from one of their billionaire friends.
The New York Times reports reclusive billionaire Timothy Mellon gave the government $130 million to help pay troops during the shutdown.
Our military has a sugar daddy? I swear, ever since Epstein Island shut down, billionaires do not know how to spend their cash. However they do it, it's very clear that when our leaders want to fund the things that they care about, they find ways to fund it. So I'm sure the Secretary of Agriculture has some ideas about how America can feed its citizens.
I don't want to speak on behalf of my boss, but if George Soros wants to step up and write a $9.2 billion check to keep those benefits moving for this for the month of November, I am guessing that would definitely be on the table.
Oh, come on. Are you serious? George Soros? The guy's already footing the bill for all the paid protesters. Come on. Look, dinosaur costumes are not cheap. So once again, our lawmakers are coming together to say that they can't come together to fix our problems. And as always, it's up to everyday people to step in and fill the void.
A New Jersey food bank delivering 4 tractor-trailer loads of food to workers at Newark who are not getting paid this week.
Landing in Washington, D.C., World Central Kitchen, Jose Andres' food charity. Often deployed to war zones and natural disasters, it provided free meals for furloughed federal employees.
Now, some have resorted to unconventional methods to help, like TikTok influencer Kelsey Martin taking advantage of Halloween, putting out non-perishable goods like ramen and microwavable meals for trick-or-treaters in need.
Wow. It really is inspiring to see people stepping up to help their neighbors in a time of need. This is what we need more of. That said, if I was a kid going trick-or-treating and you hand me a cup of noodles, I will egg your house. Trump has spent all week hopping his way through Asia, meeting leaders from Malaysia, Japan, and South Korea. But today, he went face-to-face with Asia's final boss, Chinese President Xi Jinping. And boy, did he not match Trump's energy.
Mr. President, the President of the People's Republic of China.
Good to meet you. Great pleasure to see you again.
Good to see you again.
Me too.
And we're going to have a very successful meeting, I have no doubt. But he's a very tough negotiator. That's not good.
Remember, call your doctor if your handshake lasts longer than 4 hours. But this is such a stark difference from how every other leader on this trip has interacted with Trump. Malaysia's throwing a concert for him. Korea's giving him crowns. Everyone's kissing his ass. Then Xi comes in like his mom forced him to have a play date with a weird kid at school. But forget about how their greeting was. The bigger question was what happened at that meeting. Trump said that China has been eating America's lunch for decades, and this was his chance to seal a major trade deal that finally makes things right.
President Trump back on Air Force One after his meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping, where the leaders agreed to a tentative truce in the trade war. That brings tariffs and other measures back to where they were before recent escalations.
He's basically reset the clock to January.
Wait, January? As in earlier this year, January? You went all the way to Asia for that? Okay, I think we can agree that meeting was a waste of time.
On the scale of from 0 to 10, with 10 being the best, I would say the meeting was a 12.
Spoken like a guy who does not know the order of numbers. Meanwhile, back at home on this night before Halloween, we're still dealing with the government shutdown. And it's been the same story for a month now. Democrats versus Republicans, and things are only getting more tense.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene acknowledging she lashed out on a Republican call.
What? You're telling me Representative Cruella DeVille lost her composure? Let me guess, she's saying the Democrats want to give health care to Joe Biden's auto pen.
In a break with her party, she confronted Speaker Johnson, saying, "I have no respect for the House not being in session, and I demand to know from Speaker Johnson what the Republican plan for health care is."
Oh, I was not expecting that. I'd also love to hear the Republican plan for health care. All right, good for you, Marjorie. I mean, you know what they say, even a stopped clock is right twice a day. Or as Marjorie Taylor Greene says, clocks cause autism. Yeah, I guess we can all enjoy that because she is literally wrong about everything else.
Let's take, for example, this $40 billion bailout for Argentina. That's probably one of the grossest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, that is a pretty gross thing. Wait, something weird is happening. Am I agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene? That was weird. That's never happened before. But it's a testament to the incompetence of this administration that even his ideological allies like Marjorie Taylor Greene are starting to find common ground with his critics. Although, obviously, let's not forget who we're dealing with here. We're not going to agree on much more than that.
Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is now backing a move to force a floor vote requiring the Justice Department to release all Epstein documents.
We should be passing the discharge petition that Thomas Massie put in to release the Epstein files. Those are the things that we should be doing.
La 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 la. No. Stop the clip. Stop the clip. I do not want that, okay? I do not want to agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene. What the is going on? Is it cold in here? It just got cold in here. Okay, this is really starting to creep me out. What the hell am I saying? She's a Trump supporter. She doesn't really want the Epstein files released. Wait, is that the Daily Show landline? No one's called that since the 90s when I was born. Don't Google it. Hello? Hello?
Release the Epstein files. Release the Epstein files. Release the Epstein files. Release the Epstein files.
Oh my God. Okay, breathe. Breathe, Desi. Breathe. Get it together. Okay, it's probably just the wrong number. So what? Marjorie Taylor Greene has said a few reasonable things. That doesn't mean that we have the same feelings about the Republican Party.
I'm beyond pissed off at my own party and the leadership in the House and the Senate that they are totally blowing it. Many times I hate my own party. I'm mad at Republicans. They never do what they promise they're going to do. I want to hold Republicans accountable. I want Republicans to do the job. I'm so angry at my own party, and I'm angry at all the men in leadership in the House and the Senate. And I'm like, you guys are weak and pathetic.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. MTG is roasting Republicans and her male coworkers? Where does she end and I begin? Did she also try to get a reservation by telling the hostess she's Dakota Fanning? No, don't let her get in your head. Don't let her get in your head. Don't let her get in your head.
I blame Republicans. They are literally slaves to all the big industries in Washington, the military-industrial complex.
Oh my God.
Big
Stop
pharma, health
Stop
insurance
it.
industries.
Stop it! Does anyone else see what's happening here?
President Trump, as you know, recently called at least 2 senior Republicans to ask what's going on with Marjorie.
Exactly! What is going on with Marjorie? I agree with Donald Trump. Oh my God. I agree with Donald Trump.